Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and I had a lovely birthday, thanks for asking. But before we get into the birthday haul, we have to finish things off with Wave 2 of the Transformers Siege Deluxe class figures, and we have one left, that being this guy, Sixgun. And we're going to see how he is as a standalone figure, how he interacts with other figures, and how he interacts with Metroplex in all three of his modes. Basically, everything to do with Sixgun is going to be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, and me everywhere. And this is Sixgun. He is a deluxe class figure, which I find interesting because the scamper that came with the Generations Metroplex was a little Legends class figure, and we have yet to have a version of Slammer. Now, that being said, I do have the third-party turrets manacle set from Iron Factory, so we'll also see kind of how the official Sixgun compares with the Little Legends third-party Sixgun. Is this guy good? Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend that he's not. But is he as good as Cog? And more importantly, is he guilty or innocent of the recent price increase? Well, we're going to find out because we're going to see him in all of his modes. We're going to see how he interacts with the other Wave 2 figures. We're going to see how he interacts with Cog and how Cog interacts with him, and most importantly, how this guy can incorporate into Metroplex. There's a lot to cover, so without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so here we have the Autobot Sixgun, and like I said, we're gonna have fun with this guy. I'm really looking forward to rounding out the Wave 2 Deluxes with this dude, and kind of seeing everything that he can do because, kind of like Cog, he is so very versatile. Let's begin and take a quick look at the packaging first. And its packaging, again, I think it's like an unnecessary box. Don't forget, we're giving him the grades as per usual, as well as the guilty or innocent verdict. Card back would have been fine. I've said it a million times. Here he is over here with these two cannons, by the way, showing them with blast effects. And they can take blast effects, though I don't have any kind of handy at the moment. This sort of shows you that they can do it. Nice artwork, nevertheless. The general artwork on this side, and of course we have product images on the back, and we see Ironhide down here, all six-gunned up. And we'll kind of get into all of that a little bit later. And we have the rather excellent instructions. They're nice, big, bright, clear, that have been coming with the Siege line. I will also note on this side, besides for the regular conversion of kind of robot to vehicle, we have 1, 2, 3 officially kind of sanctioned layouts for his bits and pieces when he's in different configurations to weaponize up any other character using that combat system. And in lieu of the ever popular collector card, this time around we have stats for all of the accessories, although in this case it's stats for Sixgun's different body parts. First and foremost, you see the piece there, that would be his leg, I think. It's not real strong. It has an okay range, better fire blast. Then we have, I don't know, what are the next sections? I think it's that kind of core body piece with the 4 cannon blasters. That thing seems like perhaps the strongest one, kind of always around. It definitely has the best fire blast. Its accuracy is, it's pretty high accuracy. It's pretty strong. Then the next one I think are his arm bits, maybe also quite strong. Then the black blasters, maybe that's on his arm. I'm not sure. You can see that yourself. The very last one are the 2 little red pieces that are just like those that came with Siege Sideswipe. And all in all, here's the man of the hour. Now, in this case, I did not remove the battle damage down on his toes. I think that's the only place it is because, again, when it's just very minimal like that, it really doesn't bother me. It's not splotched all over him. It looks fine where it's to. This guy can accommodate some, I guess the like battle effects parts. Naturally, they can go in the top of these little red sections like they can with Sideswipe. He has a little wart piece on his chest and kind of on his upper arms there, so you can put a few on him in different locations. Let's kind of jump right into the grading for this guy because there's kind of a lot to cover with him. The coloring. It's alright. It's, you know, I guess it's like definitely six gun, we'll say, but that being said, the face has like a white base plate on it. That really should still be red. His entire head should be red. His arms, by rights, should be red, not white. Besides that, it's pretty accurate for the most part. That being said, the kind of these like black blasters back here should not be aimed down. Actually, they're supposed to be on his shoulder, aimed forward. Is that possible to even accomplish? Well, you can take them out of there. And I was looking for a way to put them on the side. You can't do that, but we do have a peg up right here. So you can, if you want, not saying you got to do it, but you can. If you want, you can take those out from there and you can put them up on his shoulders that way and have them facing forward if you're a stickler for accuracy. That being said, I think the kind of down behind is less obtrusive this time around. Now, back in episode 407, I took a look at the Iron Factory turret manacle, and you can see their iteration of six gun next to the official six gun. You'll notice that there's a significant difference in the red color. The red of the Iron Factory more closely matches the red of Metroplex, I will say. If the Iron Factory one, which isn't perfect either, though I think it's better because the arms are still white on the Iron Factory one. If the Iron Factory one has paint depths of, say, a 9, then I would say the official one has paint depths of about 8. You know that it's 6-gun, but it's not quite correct. So an 8 to start brings us to the articulation. I'll say this, the articulation is quite fantastic. In vehicle mode, like it's fine. It's called a Cybertronian tank, but I think it's more a flying vehicle than a tank. In all of his like, I don't know, loadouts, I suppose, to go on other figures. Like, I guess it's fine. It's fine. Here, it's fine. You know, we have arms that can go all the way around. I feel like a soft ratchet, no less, all the way up. We have a bicep swivel, we have an elbow to 90 degrees. Surprisingly, no wrist. No wrist. And I think one could have been worked pretty easily. We have a head that can go left and right. It doesn't really look up or down. We have, I guess getting these out again. We have a waist, which is nice. We have legs that can go back and forward. Very high forward. We have a thigh swivel. Now, some people have complained that the thighs on theirs are very loose. Mine are not. Mine actually hold on quite securely. 90 degree at the knee. The ankles tilt. And we have even toe tilt. So, wrists, I guess, would be nice. But in all of his modes, this guy does so much right that I gotta give it like a 9.9. Like, I know the wrists are missing, but I barely really notice it, to be honest with you. It just doesn't stand out to me because of everything that he does right. So like a 9.9 for that, almost perfect. Give me wrists, it'd be 10 million. So we'll say 9.9 million. There you go, 9.9 million because he needs wrists. Otherwise, he would be a perfect 10 million. By the way, here he is with Cog, and you can see that they scale quite nicely with each other. I thought that Cog was the standout star of Wave 1, to be honest with you. I think he's a bit better than Six Gun overall, but Six Gun is no slouch, man. No slouch at all. He is scoring fantastic. Let's get into that conversion. Now, we're going to do him going from here to his vehicle mode, because that's the kind of straight up conversion first. Then we'll take kind of all of his separate bits and pieces and at least try to make the 3 official, and we'll see him on some figures and whatnot. especially the Wave 2 ones. We'll see him combined with COG, and most importantly, we're going to see how this guy integrates through all 3 versions, sections, modes of Metroplex, because that, I think, is where this guy, you know, is really intended to go. Although, that being said, if you don't have Metroplex, this guy's still fantastic. Okay, so where do we begin? Well, there is going to be parts forming, but I forgive it with the weaponizers because they're supposed to come apart and be things. Especially this guy, because traditionally he's supposed to turn into 6 guns, hence the name Sixgun. Although here I think it's arguable that he could be about 8, maybe 10 guns. Like, he is definitely more than 6. So we take his arms off, and that's where we begin. We can turn his head around, we can lift up this front piece, and we can detach this from the side, and there is a little like rectangular tab and a little rectangular hole that holds the sides of his chest on. So that's on both sides, and then there's another 5mm peg that goes down in the body there. We can take the chest off. Then we can take these 2 blasters here and bring them down, and then we can fold all of that forward. And it's looking pretty good so far, I think, I believe. So we want to turn the waist around, and what you're going to do now is you're going to kind of collapse, you're going to, I guess, kind of bend the leg up. And when you do it, there's a little rectangular tab right here that goes into a rectangular slot on the leg. So you bring the leg up, make sure it's all pushed on properly, and you push it on over the tab. You're going to do the same on the other side. Bring it up, make sure it's all pushed in properly, push it on over the tab. And then you're going to just bend the legs down like that and the toes out like this. By the way, I've heard that the toes are backwards on some of these. If yours are on backwards, you can pop them off and put them on the right feet. I don't even know if mine are on backwards. I'm not even sure how you'd notice. Mine seem fine, whatever. Now apparently this can be an alt mode in its own right. That being said, it seems like it would be pretty immobile. So, but apparently it can be an alt mode by itself. That being said, you will notice that we do have a peg hole left up here. We have to just finish something off with the upper body, and then we'll attach the 2. Just one tiny little thing left here. This on back comes up over and covers the face. Then we use this peg on bottom to secure both pieces together. Then we can take one of these arms and put it in there. Make sure the hand is out. We can take the other arm and it will go slide in over here. And if you want, you can also attach the, how is it that goes? Where is it that goes? Yeah, they go up on the tops up here. You can take this and slot it in there, and you can take this and slot it in there, and that is his combined mode. Now each of these parts, like I said, can be parts by themselves. The upper body seems like it would be a mobile flight thing. The lower body, I don't know, it seems like it would be in a mobile turret thing, I guess, but this is the actual alt mode. Okay, let's get him in all of his bits and pieces, and we can kind of see how everything goes together that way. So now we have this whole bunch of parts again. We're going to kind of show the different like payloads, and then I'll just come up with some version thereof of like what I like myself. And we'll kind of see how they interact with some of the other Wave 2 figures. So, the very first one is the defensive loadout. That's what it's called. And I guess we'll kind of take the arm sections off for now, and we'll kind of take the core body section out for now, because that's kind of part 2 of doing this loadout. Part 1 has us using these sections first that are left here on the table. So we take the kind of main body piece here, and you will place the legs kind of in those holes, we'll say, on the side, and then you're going to take the smaller cannon bits and put them on the top. And you're going to end up with something that looks like this. Now part 2 has us using these pieces, and it's pretty simple the way that this is going to go. We take our red piece here and we bring the hips really out to the sides, and you'll notice we have a 5mm peg there. Well, we have a 5mm port here on the arm, so that's going to go on over the peg and look like that. And we're going to do the same on the other side, and it will look like that. And this is what we end up with. It's, you know, it's all right. We turn it over and there's a peg down here that we work to pull out. And now that we have this entire backpack section here, well, I guess the only question left to ask is, how exactly do we load a figure up with these 2 pieces? Despite being back onto us, Prowl has kindly decided that he is going to kind of serve as our model this time around. So we have a little peg right there. It's going to go into a peg that's on the back of a Siege figure, in this case, Prowl. And makes Prowl pretty back heavy. We push this forward and it opens out a little section up here where you can still see a peg hole. And then using that peg that I took out, we're going to place that in the peg hole and have a huge backpack on Prowl. Let's see if he can stand up with it. And poor Prowl here is having a hard time. The hips on him are so weak that he just wants to fall back. He needs to be like leaned forward this much to accommodate this gigantic backpack, which is, you know, to be fair, it's a complete other figure on the back. So what do you expect, you know? I see this as like a mix of like a battle backpack and like a flight pack. You know, that's kind of what I see. But I mean, even there, if you count, there's at least 8 blasters. So 6 gun, maybe he should have been 8 gun. You know, I'm just saying. It's a cool backpack, but you need a figure with strong hips and a strong back to accommodate it. Nevertheless, you can see that, yeah, Prowl can accommodate it. I would probably use one of the other loadouts for Prowl, however, because of those hips. And because he's just a tiny little lad. Alright, so if this is the defensive loadout, what do we do for the next one, the offensive loadout? Well, it's actually quite simple. We begin by taking the legs off the side and taking this whole piece off. Then this piece here, we can just take it and go for now. Actually, you know what, we might as well do this now. You take these little bits and they go in the side. The instructions have you doing this part later, but we can do it now. Why not? Now we can take this whole piece off to the side. It's going to kind of serve as a shield. These 2 pieces, the leg pieces, they can both come off to the side now because they're going to work just like they are. And as for this section, it's pretty much going to stay like it is, except now we're going to kind of aim it this way, very akin to what we did with Cog. And this is quite honestly Chromia at her best. We've already seen her cogged up, now she's 6-gunned up, and man, her like boot shoe blaster things are giving her stability that she so very desperately needed. Again, on the back, I guess we would call that a thruster pack. I absolutely dig this. I like this better than the other huge backpack. I don't know, shield, tow guns, and like blasters up over her shoulders. Come on, it is a win. And the last loadout is called the High Precision Launcher Gauntlet, and we only need these 2 pieces. All the rest can be put aside or attached however you see fit. And to make this one, this one's a little weird. We bring these pieces down on the side. We bring this whole piece forward, and it says to bring this piece back up, so we'll just leave it up since it's there already anyway. And that's it. We can basically lay this aside. We're going to use this kind of peg hole right here in just a few moments. So we'll lay this aside for now. And so we come to this piece, and it's always this piece that's left, you know? The thing that's going to kind of guide you with what to do this time around is this peg. If it's not already out, pull it out. The hip sections, if they're still out to the side from the kind of last payload that we did, or loadout, whatever it is, you close them as if the legs were going to go on, and you push them forward that way. And then you take these fingers and you angle them this way, and we kind of have a little hand now. And using that peg hole that we mentioned earlier, we put these two together, and now we have like a huge glove thing. Okay, it's like a... Remember the Nintendo Power Glove? Like, this is like the, you know, Cybertronian Transformers-y version of that. And we have a little peg in here. Someone would hold it in their hand, and it gives them a huge battle hand with blaster fingers. I don't know. And was there really ever any doubt that I was going to give the huge hand with the finger blasters to Ironhide? Probably not. That said, it's heavy, so you put his arm out. it can't really support the weight out. Okay, I guess it's a huge hand blaster thingy. I don't know. I think that's weird. I think that's a weird use of it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But now let's get to some of the fun stuff. And here we have Cog, all six-gunned up, and you know, this is only one possible configuration. Obviously, there's a billion, million, trillion, zillion that you could do, which I love that versatility. I think that's amazing. But yeah, so here's one option, and you know what? Just for the heck of it, since we have Cog here all six-gunned up, I think it's only fitting and fair that we do the reverse. Here we have six-gun, all cogged up. And, like, again, you could be as creative as you want with this. You know, the guy has arms on his back and extra legs on his feet. You know, it's weird, but that's the glory of it. That's what's so beautiful about these weaponizer guys. They're, like, so versatile and so weird that they're fantastic. What about some conglomeration where both of these guys are put together? Like this, maybe? Yeah, something like this, you know? Like, come on. So, has Ironhide ever looked so imposing in all of his existence? I don't think so. I really don't. You know, he has double shoes, he has double arms, shields on each one, thruster packs, blasters, like... Yes, everything that you could possibly want. And you know what? There's still a boatload of ports and pegs that could still be used to add even more to this guy. I mean, as many as you want. It's like, you know, like building blocks, you know, that you can use that are made up of Transformer parts, if that makes any sense. So let's talk final score here before we see how this guy interacts with Metroplex, because that's pure creativity to see how he interacts with that huge city bot. So, we already said that his paint apps were about an 8 because there are certain, like, imperfections. We said that the articulation is a 9.9 million. He doesn't have wrist swivel. That's the one thing keeping him from a perfect 10. The transformation, like, it's all pretty easy. It's creative. It's fun. It's interesting. I don't get tired of it. That's 10 million, man. This guy's fantastic. Now, there comes a little caveat with that. I realize that there's a lot of parts that come apart here. If you don't like parts forming, this guy's not for you at all. Like, if that's a real stickling issue for you, don't get this guy. If yours suffers from poor tolerances, as I have heard when it comes to the legs pegging into the hips, then obviously your experience with this mold is going to be far more of a sour thing than what I have experienced with this mold. For him and Cog, both of mine are toleranced really well. They stay together nicely. Everything is smooth. All the joints are smooth. Both of them are absolute wins. If you can get two good copies, I think they're absolute wins, and I cannot wait to kind of be able to add to my Decepticon side with Brunt when he comes. Overall score for this guy, honestly, we're going to say a 10. He's a 10. If you have the tolerance issues, it might be a 5, it might be a 3, you know? I could really see that ruining an otherwise excellent, stellar figure. Is he guilty or innocent? In this case, because of the versatility, because of everything he can do, I have to say that this is one of those occasions, and especially because this is a guy we have not had updated before, he is absolutely 100% innocent. And here we have him in the robot mode. You can see the torso section over here on this blaster. We have the upper body section up on this blaster. I also have the parts and pieces of turrets and manacles still on Metroplex. Like, you know, here's a piece here, here's a piece here, and here, down in his kneecaps, for example. If we turn him around, here we can see the two legs of Sixgun. We can see his arms attached right there. We can even see the little side swipe pieces attached there. Now, of course, there's a million ways to do this, and if you don't have turrets and manacle there, then you can attach them in even more locations. Keep in mind that all three of these figures, turrets, manacle, and now the official Sixgun, all of them are attached at various 5mm pegs and ports all over this guy. Who knew that Generations Metroplex had so much, I guess, ability to kind of accommodate so many other bits and pieces of figures on him? What about his vehicle mode? And there is vehicle mode. You can see that most of the pieces of Sixgun are kind of on the upper body section, really. Turrets and manacle are still there. If you look down at the kneecaps folded down front, you'll kind of see bits of turrets and manacle. You can see though that the red does not match. Let me get in closer. Right there, you can see the position of the legs. You can see that main torso piece. You can see the upper body, and you can see clearly where it is because the red isn't a match. It's cool that we can incorporate it, but I wish that they'd just use the same color of red. And wow, just wow, here's the city mode with turrets and manacle and Sixgun. By the way, in case you were wondering, the extra blaster, I found that while thrifting for $2, so that's how I ended up with 2 of those blasters. You'll notice kind of down on the lower parts, you'll see the legs of Sixgun pegged in there as extra blasters. Next to the helipad, you will see his 2 arms attached to those 2 red armatures that come up. You will also probably be able to notice over on this side that torso with the 4 kind of, I guess, blasters on them. He's all over the guy. Yeah, he incorporates in all modes spectacularly. Like I said, I can only speak for my experience with him, but to me, Sixgun, just like Cog, is an absolute win, whether you use him with Metroplex or not. And here we are once again, and first things first, I want to give a shout out to Ninja Bill, because he pointed out a piece of articulation, I guess, that I really don't know why it's there. It's a hinge kind of down on his lower tummy. It works as like a reverse ab crunch, I guess. It's a friction joint, but it's really tight. I don't see any other purpose for it other than an added piece of articulation, but it just makes him bend back, so I don't know if it really counts. But it's there, I guess, I suppose. Either way, whether you include that or don't include it, all of his scores still stand. The articulation is great, except for a lacking wrist swivel. The versatility of his transformation and the way he can interact with everybody else is astonishing, and his colors are largely accurate, though the arms, as I said before, should be red. He's good. He's fun. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep him. I even like the way that he interacts with Metroplex, even though the red is not the same shade. I don't care. I have seen him paired with is it Make Toys? Utopia? Is that it? Is that their Metroplex? And this red seems to be a closer match to that red, but I don't think that guy has the 5mm ports to actually incorporate this dude. So I'm going to use him with my Generations Metroplex and be very happy to have him. So what does that mean for Turrets and Manacle? Well, I still like them, and I'm going to keep them too. The third-party representation of this guy, I don't know, let's unofficially start calling him Stun Gun. Why not? Yeah, he's fun. He's great. He's definitely worth the pickup. Was he guilty or innocent? He's absolutely innocent. So in Wave 2, we've had 2 deluxe class figures be guilty of an unjustified price increase, and 2, this guy in Ironhide, who are innocent, because I understand why the price increase happened. I see it. It makes sense. That being said, there is a caveat. When we look at Wave 1 and Wave 2 of the deluxe class figures, thus far, not speaking for Wave 3 onward, but for Wave 1 and Wave 2, thus far, we have not had any repaints. They have all 8 have been new molds. Perhaps part of the cost goes into further research and development into making new molds, and I would call that very justified. It's nice to not be getting so many repaints. 2 waves in, and everything is new so far. Let's see how long it lasts going forward. Anyway, let me know what you think about this guy. Did you manage to get a good copy and avoid the QC issues that he's known to have, such as very loose thighs? And I've heard of loose arms. Hopefully yours is excellent as well. I know mine is. You know I love to hear from you guys, as always. Thanks for dropping by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. And I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.